Buenas tardes a todos. Bienvenidos a la gente que nos va a ver. Saludos a G. Mejía. Espero que la gente se pueda unir para ver la entrevista hoy con nuestra defensa legionaria Michelle Ruano, que obviamente juega acá en Estados Unidos. Voy a darle un más minuto para ver si la gente se puede unir para esta entrevista. Obviamente sabemos que Michelle es una defensa, juega acá en Estados Unidos, cerca de Los Ángeles, si no estoy mal. Pero sí, vamos a ver si la gente se puede unir para que puedan ver la entrevista que tengo hoy por ustedes. Espero que les guste. Michelle también entró en el 11 ideal de la CONCACAF. Ahorita esta fecha FIFA que ahorita pasó. Ha hecho buenos partidos con la selección nacional. Entonces sí, muy feliz de tenerla acá. Espero que la gente se pueda unir. Comenten, por favor. Saludos a Ahmed Bilal. Espero que esté bien. Voy a ver un poquito más. Comenten para ver si pueden escuchar todo bien. Saludos a Alfredo León, saludos a Miguel Gonzalo Alfa Delta, soy tercero. Cabal, saludos a todos. Bueno, voy a añadir a Michelle. Entonces acá está Michelle. Saludos a Norbert Girón Godoy. Bueno, acá tenemos a nuestra defensa legionaria Michelle Ruano, quien milita en Los Ángeles. Ella quiere hacer la entrevista en inglés. Ella se siente cómoda hablar en inglés. Obviamente yo voy a traducirlos para ustedes, para la gente que posiblemente que no hable inglés. Entonces no se preocupen. But Michelle, thank you, for taking your time out of your day doing this for my YouTube channel and obviously for my audience. But how's everything in Los Angeles, California?
It's great. Weather's good. Can't complain. And just been training, coming off a high from winning our UPSL championship. So just getting ready to head out with the national team.
Yeah, for sure. Entonces sí, obviamente le pregunté cómo está ella ahorita en Los Ángeles, donde ella radica. Sí, dice que está feliz, contenta por obviamente ya conseguir el título que ahorita obtuvo este fin de semana. Ganaron el campeonato con su equipo, ganaron todo el torneo de UPSL y está feliz por viajar en estos días hacia Guatemala para el partido importante ante Jamaica. And Michelle, for the people that don't know about you, where were you born? What position do you normally play? And what team do you play for? Para la gente que no sabe de Michelle, ¿dónde nació ella? ¿Qué posición juega? Y en qué equipo también pertenece?
Of course. I was born in Redondo Beach, California, and my parents are actually divorced. So my mom remarried and we moved to Fresno, which is the Central Valley of
Yep.
California.
Uh-huh.
And if anyone knows, there's not a lot to do there. But it really gave me a lot of time to spend, playing soccer. It was a focus of mine growing up, as long as academics as well.
Yeah.
But once I finished school, I moved back to Southern California, where I now play for United City FC in Los Angeles.
Sí.
I predominantly play anywhere on the outside. So outside back, outside mid, winger.
Yeah.
Now with the national team, I play outside back.
Yeah. Okay, for sure. Entonces sí, saludos a Norbert Girón, Caminante Solitario, Jorge Mario Martínez. Por favor, gente, si le pueden dejar like. Sí, pero Michelle dijo que nació en Redondo Beach. Sus papás se divorciaron, entonces su mamá cuando se casó de nuevo se movieron a Fresno, donde ella ahí estudió, jugó y todo eso, y después se movió después a Los Ángeles, donde obviamente juega con su equipo y normalmente juega como lateral derecha o digamos en esa posición donde lo ha hecho ahorita últimamente con la selección nacional. How long have you been playing, Michelle, like soccer-wise? And I'm guessing you feel most comfortable with playing right back, right? ¿Por cuántos años ha jugado al fútbol, Michelle, y dónde se siente más cómodo dentro de la cancha?
Yeah, so I've been playing soccer probably, I want to say 25 years at least. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Definitely a passion of mine, and it's something that I've never lost the fuel to play. I just love it so much, which is why I continue to do it
Yeah.
and want to compete at a high level.
Mhm.
The position I'm most comfortable in would be either side. I think I technically prefer the left just
Okay.
because it gives me the opportunity to cut back onto my right
Yeah.
for a hard shot, or a cross in.
Ujú.
So
For sure.
either. Yeah.
Claro, entonces sí, ella dijo que ella ha jugado fútbol casi 25 años, obviamente bastante tiempo, y después donde ella se siente más cómoda es jugar de ya lateral derecha o lateral izquierda, pero se siente más cómoda jugando como lateral izquierda, ya que puede enganchar y obviamente tirar disparos hacia el arco. And what teams have you played with, Michelle? Obviously, we know that you play right now with the current team in Los Angeles, but what teams have you played with throughout possibly like the past 5 years? ¿Con qué equipos ha jugado ella últimamente en los últimos 5 años?
Yeah, so I played with United City FC, and then before that, I played for a team called Capo FC, which competed also in the UPSL and
Ajá,
Southwest Premier League. We've won our league championship with that team as well.
ajá,
Before that, I played for a team called FC Golden State, and it
ujú,
merged. It was LA Via and FC Golden State. So when they got bought out, our team name changed,
yeah,
and found success with them too. We won the WPSL in our conference.
okay,
So every team I've been a part of, I've been fortunate enough to have quite a bit of success on.
yeah, for sure. Entonces, en los últimos dos equipos donde ella ha jugado en Los Ángeles, obviamente han ganado, pues han tenido la oportunidad de ganar su conferencia. Entonces, esto es obviamente algo bueno para Michelle, ya que ha estado con equipos que han ganado el torneo en sí. What do you do for a living, Michelle? Because obviously we know that, I mean, you have to have an income, you know? I'm unfortunately playing in Guatemala, even playing. I'm not sure if they do pay you in Los Angeles, but what do you do for a living? ¿Qué hace Michelle en Los Ángeles? ¿Cómo vive ella? ¿Qué es su trabajo?
Yeah, I work for a landscape design company. So
Mm,
the best way to kind of describe what I do is I am an interior designer for outdoor spaces. So I get to design and style and stage people's homes in Southern California, and we are fortunate enough for the weather being really good year round.
yeah.
So it's a big demand here.
Mm. For sure. Entonces, sí, ella, digamos, trabaja en diseñar, digamos, apartamentos o, digamos, diferentes cosas de ese tipo. Lo ha hecho por mucho tiempo y obviamente lo ha hecho. And you've done it in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, so I live in Orange County.
Okay.
So we do most of our jobs in Orange County, LA, kind of anywhere in California, pretty much. Yeah.
No, pero entonces, sí, ella lo ha hecho en el área de Los Ángeles y obviamente también donde ella vive. Um, so how are you Guatemalan? For the people that might not know, and you know what part of Guatemala either parent is from. ¿Cómo es ella guatemalteca? Y si sabe ella de qué parte de Guatemala es, ya sea su mamá o papá.
Yeah, so I am Guatemalan through my father,
Ujú.
my biological father. He was actually born in Guatemala City.
Okay. Okay, for sure. And then how many times have you been to Guatemala before flying for the national team?
Never.
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 Damn.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I'm really looking forward to, I mean, a lot of the time I do go for the national team, but I really want to spend time outside of the national team seeing more of
Country.
Guatemala. Yeah, like, I would love to go to the lake and the volcanoes and try all the food, so if anyone is interested in taking me around, I'm more than welcome to go.
Sure. Entonces sí, él dice que su papá, su verdadero papá, es el que nació en Guatemala y él es de la capital. Antes de que ella obviamente viajó a Guate para la selección, ella nunca había ido a Guatemala, entonces la primera vez fue cuando obviamente fue para la selección nacional y también quiere conocer partes en nuestro país, aparte de solamente obviamente conocer el carro y posiblemente otras partes ahí en la capital. Did you ever dream playing for Guatemala? Obviously you made your debut this year and
Mhm.
everything, but like maybe even a couple years back, was it ever a dream to represent Guatemala? Si fue un sueño para ella, digamos, en los últimos años en jugar para la selección nacional de Guatemala.
Yeah, I think for me, it was always a dream to play at the international level.
Ujú.
Now, did I ever think I would be selected is a different story.
Yeah.
You know, um, it's kind of humble beginnings. I started in Fresno, which it's not a very big city and gets a lot of representation. So being exposed at a high level is very difficult. So, being 6 years old, I all I ever wanted to do was be a professional soccer player.
Yeah,
So, my whole life, it was just kind of a dream. Like, it's something I wanted, but
yeah,
I never thought it could actually happen. And now being here, it's almost surreal. Like, I can't believe that
yeah,
my name is one of the names on the roster being called, let alone being one of the starting 11.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So so that little girl, obviously that grew up in Fresno, is this obviously like crazy? Obviously everything happens so fast within literally 1 year. Um, is it very surprising?
Oh, I'm still shocked every single day when I see my name posted on something. It's just, like I said, so, humbling and
Mhm.
an honor to be able to represent my country
Yeah,
because I think that's, 1% of athletes that get to do that, and the fact that I get to keep getting called up and that the coaches have faith in me and my coaches back in the US, have faith in me to play well and at a high level is
yeah.
just amazing.
For sure. Entonces, sí, ella dijo que siempre fue un sueño desde chiquita en jugar profesionalmente, pero nunca pensó que le iban a seleccionar. Entonces, obviamente, cuando ella ve su nombre en la lista de la selección femenina, se queda en shock, pero obviamente está muy feliz y obviamente ha trabajado mucho por lograr sus sueños. And I mean, obviously, from the couple of times that you've been to Guatemala, have you tried any Guatemalan dish? If you have, do you have anything that's possibly your favorite? And how's your Spanish? Si de las pocas veces que ha ido a Guatemala, si tiene un plato favorito de Guatemala y cómo va su español.
Um, so most of the food I've actually eaten in Guatemala has been from the Federation, so I don't know if I have a fair
Fair dish.
judgment on it. I've had chucos, I've had some of
Okay.
the tamales, like, just basics.
Yeah,
Like I said, I'm definitely open to trying a lot more of the food, especially since I love food.
yeah.
Um, what was I can't
Oh,
remember the
yeah, and then how's your Spanish going so far?
um, estoy practicando todos los días. It's not great, but we're working on it.
Yeah,
Carla and the coaches are very patient with me,
yeah.
so I love that, and I have teammates that help me out a lot too, so I make them have Spanish lessons with me to help me, on and off the field, so
Yeah, for sure. Entonces sí, él dijo que normalmente la comida que haya probado en Guatemala ha sido directamente del carry, que obviamente si ella se concentra ahí con las demás seleccionadas, pero ha probado los chucos y también ha probado los tamales también. Saludos a Melvin H., Norbert Girón Godoy, Caminante Solitario, Jesús Gutiérrez, Amílcar, Eduardo, Oscar Morales. Por favor, todos dejen su like y suscríbanse si son nuevos. Y también dijo que el español lo sigue practicando. Obviamente ahí lo pudieron escuchar un poco cuando lo habló. When did you know that Guatemala was an option for you? Because a lot of people didn't really know about you. I mean, I myself didn't know either, but like, when did you know Guatemala was an actual option for yourself? And cuando supo ella que Guatemala era una opción para jugar?
yeah, so, it was something that I kind of started in the process this year,
Mhm,
and fortunately, Juan actually was the one that helped me kind of get the ball rolling on trying to find a way to get onto the national team.
mhm,
So Juan definitely was the first step into starting that process, and then my club, United City FC, kind of was a driving force to get them to try to take a look at me.
yeah,
So they got me on a training with Municipal, which
yeah,
shout out to Municipal, Go Rojas. I love them. I miss them. Um, but I got to spend a week training with them, and then they had a scrimmage lined up to play against the Seleccion,
yeah,
where that kind of was like my debut for them to take a look at me.
yeah.
And from there, Carla walked up to me and kind of I was again shocked. She came up to me and was like, "I'd like to invite you to camp." And I was again that 6-year-old kid, like, "Oh my gosh, this can't be real."
Yeah, 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 yeah. Dang, I'm glad obviously that happened. Pero sí, él dijo que este año ella se puso la meta para obviamente tratar de jugar con la selección nacional. Yo tuve, digamos, una parte en el inicio para tratar de que ellas lo convocaran a un campamento. y también su equipo hizo un gran trabajo en que le consiguieron, digamos, unas casi 2 semanas de entreno con la Municipal, las Rojas, y cuando ella estuvo en ese tiempo, Municipal Femenil se enfrentó a la Selección Nacional de Guatemala. Obviamente Michelle jugó con Municipal, hizo un buen partido, y después la profe Carla se acercó a ella y la invitó para un campamento después, donde Michelle jugó 2 amistosos contra la selección de Honduras en Honduras, y obviamente lo hizo muy bien. Um, what what's the biggest difference between football in the US? Obviously you've played your whole life here, and from the time that you spent with Municipal, the time that you spent with the national team, like what's the biggest difference? La gran diferencia entre el fútbol estadounidense femenil acá en Estados Unidos en comparación al de Guatemala.
I think the biggest difference between US soccer versus soccer in Guatemala is here, I think it tends to be a lot more aggressive in the sense that it's about being athletic. Like it's about being bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
Where I think a lot of, Central South American countries and even Europe focuses more on the technical side.
Yeah.
It's I think that's the biggest difference. I think the US is starting to kind of grasp that technical side as well.
Mhm.
Uh, so I think it's kind of having the luxury for me having both. I
Mhm.
think has helped me in the development as a player.
For sure. And look who's looking at her live. Elisa.
Yeah. Hello.
Pero sí, él dijo que digamos, la gran diferencia entre el fútbol estadounidense y el de Guate es que acá es mucho más roce, mucho más físico en comparación al de Guatemala, que es mucho más técnico en sí, y también obviamente eso se aplica en los diferentes atletas digamos, ambos países. What has surprised you about the soccer in Guatemala? Because we all know that the soccer in obviously here in the US compared to what is very different. But is there anything that surprised you? Si algo que le sorprendió del fútbol femenino de Guatemala.
Okay, actually, there's one thing. I remember playing with Municipal,
Yeah.
and the six
Uh,
is called the five. And so I remember being at training and the coaches being like, Michelle, go in the five. And I was like, where's that? I was like, so unrelated about skill, but I thought that was really funny because in the US, like the defensive center mid is a six.
yeah,
Like that was a huge difference for me. I was like, I was lost. I was like, I don't know where you're telling me to go.
for sure.
Uh,
Entonces, yeah, keep going.
no, as far as the playing wise, I think the technical ability, I think, was surprising for me too. Like not in a bad way, but I thought it was very quick, like all about movement and
Yeah,
space compared to like I said, in the US, we're all about running. Like we will get the ball and play it far and run. So it was cool to see that kind of dynamic change of being like quick on and off the ball, not just hitting it down the line.
yeah, for sure. Look what Elisa says, speak to her in Spanish. Pero sí, Michelle dijo que algo que le sorprendió fue que, digamos, en Guatemala, digamos, en la posición 6 le dijeron a ella que obviamente jugara la posición 5 y eso como le sorprendió porque no supo, digamos, esa posición y obviamente porque acá en Estados Unidos el 6, digamos, se juega diferente en comparación a Guatemala. What was the other thing that you mentioned? Sorry, the second part of the question?
Yeah, it was I
More technical, right?
yeah, it was like the more technical ability. Like it's all about kind of that quick movement on and off the ball. It's not
Yeah,
so just like
direct.
American soccer where we just run and body people off the ball.
Entonces sí, también dijo que la otra diferencia fue que el guante es mucho más técnico, obviamente con muchos más, digamos, movimientos en comparación acá en Estados Unidos, es muy directo y obviamente también se corre mucho más que allá en Guatemala. How did the municipal thing come about? Because it definitely surprised me. I was obviously happy for you, but like, how did it all come about? ¿Cómo se dio su prueba con el municipal femenil en Guatemala?
Yeah, so that came about with my coaches reaching out to Selvin, who is, I believe, the general manager of Municipal.
Yep.
And he kind of spoke with my coaches and was like, all right, like we'll bring her out here to train, um, just to get her to adapt and see how she likes it, and then kind of gave me that opportunity. So with my time in Guatemala, like he was a big um, positive influence for me moving forward, and the support I have from him even today. Like I still get a little message every now and again where he's like, "I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
It's so good to see you on the field." And I think I'll forever be grateful for him to, give me the opportunity, because I don't think most teams would let, an American player just come out to just
Yeah.
train and then have a purpose to go on the national team. So I think he's been a very big part of my journey making it out here too.
Did you learn anything new playing out there? Obviously, from like the 1 or 2 weeks that you're training with Municipal.
Um, I think it was a different style of play. I think it's like I said, it's very different, and it's about like movement and getting off the ball and on the ball.
Hmm.
And with them, I actually got to train in a couple different positions. So for me, it was out of my normal. So like I said, I got to play a little bit in the middle, sometimes on the outside,
Hmm.
sometimes as a winger.
Yeah.
So I think it helped just my overall readiness to kind of jump into the national team. So feeling like dialed in with my touches and my passes and being able to check my shoulder and turn and play the ball out.
Yeah, for sure. Entonces sí, él dijo que la forma en la cual ella llegó a Municipal fue que su equipo habló directamente con Selvin Ponciano, que es el gerente general del dicho equipo. Así llegó ella, digamos, por las 2 semanas que estuvo con Municipal. Y está totalmente agradecido con Selvin, ya que le dio la oportunidad que ella hubiera llegado, entrenado, y que obviamente después fue también a la selección nacional. Algo que posiblemente aprendió fue que ella jugó en diferentes posiciones y que obviamente eso le preparó para estar en la selección nacional. How did you feel, getting your first ever call up to the main national team for Guatemala? Like what went through your mind? Like how did it all occur? ¿Cómo se sintió ella en recibir el primer llamado de la selección nacional de Guatemala?
Yeah, so my first feelings when I was being called up was almost disbelief. Like I could not believe that I was being selected, because like I said, it's the 1% of athletes, and I know there are tons of girls that seek this same exact opportunity.
Yeah.
And I like you said, I was just a person in Fresno, California, just trying to play soccer at the next level, and I felt very underrepresented.
Hmm.
Uh, so, like I said, like being that person being selected was just like an emotional moment for me. Like it
Yeah.
was like everything I've worked for my whole life was just like finally coming together.
It paid
And
off.
yeah, exactly.
Ujú. For
Yeah.
sure. Entonces, sí, él dijo que cuando lo recibió, obviamente estaba contenta, estaba muy alegre por obviamente lograr el sueño de esa niña chiquita que estuvo en Fresno, que realmente no tuvo muchas oportunidades en ese tiempo, pero sí, todo esfuerzo tiene su recompensa. Fue obviamente un momento emocional para ella, ya que le costó demasiado, pero obviamente lo logró. How did you feel when you put on, for the first time, the training jersey? Because like how you said, it's not what it's a lot of people don't get that wonderful opportunity, to put on the training jersey, to be at the car, to be, with the coaches and everything.
Mhm.
But how did that go about? ¿Cómo se sintió ella cuando se puso por primera vez digamos, la indumentaria de entreno de la selección?
Yeah, I think that initial feeling going, like putting on the training gear and heading out to the field was just instant pride. It was
Yeah.
pride for myself, pride for my teammates, pride for like anyone that's got me to where I am today. So, especially my coaches right now with United City, with Selvin, it's kind of everyone at any point in my life that has helped me get to this point. Like that's what I was feeling. It was just like the immense amount of gratitude I've had for every part of that journey. Even the small person that I played pickup with on a field on a Tuesday, like
Yeah.
those people helped me get to where I am, and I think I have that feeling every time I put a jersey on. It's just I'm not only playing for my country and my teammates and
Mhm.
myself, but it's everyone. It's the 10-year-olds that seek the same opportunity. Like it's fantastic.
For sure. Entonces, sí, ella dice que es un gran orgullo, fue un gran orgullo, fue un gran momento para ella ponerse la indumentaria de Guatemala y que obviamente todos los equipos, todas las jugadoras que ella se enfrentó, que estuvieron con ella en los diferentes equipos donde ella estuvo, obviamente son parte de este proceso, toda la gente que ha confiado en ella también, em, que han sido parte de esto, se lo dedica pues este logro a ellos también. Do you know the national anthem, Michelle? Sí que ella conoce el himno nacional de Guatemala.
Yeah, yes and no. I know half of it. So, that's something I do practice actually almost, I would say almost every day, but
Not bad, not bad.
yeah, I like I said, like, I have a lot of pride for Guatemala, and I want to be as respectful as I can, and
Mhm.
that is also practicing my Spanish,
Yeah.
learning the national anthem,
Mm,
like I said, every time I wear the jersey, I'm representing my country, and I want to be an example of, like, passion for the sport and passion for women's soccer, and so
mhm.
I have to do my due diligence as an athlete that is being a representation at a high level.
Yeah. For sure, for sure. Entonces, sí, ella dice que sabe el himno nacional casi 50%, ella lo practica casi diario, también practica el español y es un gran orgullo, obviamente, cantar el himno y por el respeto al país, por el respeto a Guatemala, ella quiere aprenderse el himno nacional, se siente obviamente como guatemalteca, pero sí, es un gran orgullo para ella cantar el himno y obviamente lo está practicando diario. Who's your favorite teammate on the national team, you know? And if there's obviously, it's probably a couple, you know, so you can mention a couple names if you want. Su compañera favorita en la selección nacional.
Oh, man, that's a good question. Yeah, so I'm pretty new,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
just met most of the people I've met, like 2,
Mm.
3 times. So, but yeah, there is definitely a few. One, I would say the first person I met was Luisa Leon. She was the first person I met with Municipal and with the Seleccion. So, big shout out to her because she's the first person that kind of welcomed me
Oh,
and
nice.
kind of always took me under her wing. So, shout out for her.
Mhm.
Second, I would definitely say would be Mafer. She plays in the middle. I've been able to like chat with her a lot, so it's cool, to get to know her,
Yeah,
and, let's see, there's definitely quite a few more. I think, Alexia, she's a
Estrada.
keeper. Yeah,
Yeah,
Alexia Estrada.
yeah.
It was awesome because I got to room with her when we went to Jamaica, so, again, all these opportunities I have, I get to spend more one-on-one time with my teammates and
Yeah.
get to know them a little bit better.
Mhm.
And then, I can say great things about all the girls, like Aisha, Saviana, Leslie.
Yeah.
Leslie I actually played with back when I played for LA Via, so I've actually known Leslie for, like, 7 years, which is
Oh,
pretty
wow.
crazy. Yeah.
Small world, right?
Yeah, it was crazy seeing her when I showed up to camp, and then I saw her walk through the door, and I was like, "I know you."
And how was that moment?
Uh, that was, I think, almost a jaw-dropping moment. We kinda looked at each other and we're like, I know you." Like, we have a picture holding a giant check where we won a, adult state cup.
That's wild.
Yeah, so
That's
there's, like, yeah, I think there's most of the girls on the team, I think I have a deep respect for, like,
yeah.
even Elisa, who popped on earlier. Um, I think this team is very special to me. I think they have been very welcoming,
Yeah.
especially since my Spanish isn't great.
Mhm.
They help me out a lot, which
Mhm.
I'm so eternally grateful for,
Yeah.
and I think each person is kind of like a different aspect of, like, a relationship on a team. So
Mhm.
for me, they kind of all serve different purposes,
For sure.
There's the younger ones like Andrea who just, like, jokes around, so she's funny to, like, goof on and, like, pick
Yeah.
on, and
Yeah.
then there's, other teammates, that I can have, like, deep, serious conversations about. So,
Mhm.
I think kind of the depth in the team and, like I said, feeling welcomed by all of them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I can necessarily say that one person is better than the other. I think they
Yeah.
all have different purposes for me. So, yeah.
For sure. For sure, for sure. Entonces sí, él dijo que obviamente cuando llegó Municipal, Andrea, que también, Luisa, right?
Luis, yeah.
Que cuando llegó Municipal, Luisa digamos, acobijó cuando llegó a Municipal y obviamente también lo hizo cuando estuvo en la selección nacional. Tiene buena relación con todas las seleccionadas, tiene mucho respeto para todas las jugadoras que juegan en la selección nacional. También dijo que se lleva muy bien con Alexia Estrada, que es la portera, Saviana, Aisha, y también algo curioso fue cuando estuvo en el CAR, obviamente vio a Leslie y ambas obviamente se recordaron que habían jugado hace como 7 años donde ganaron un torneo. Entonces Leslie y Michelle ya se conocen por varios años, pero reitero, ella dijo que tiene mucho respeto para todas, y obviamente muy feliz de estar con la selección. Were you surprised that there's obviously hella English spoken on the national team? Like, did that help you? Like, obviously it's happening right now a lot on both the men and women's side, but did that surprise you? Si se sorprende que hay tanto inglés que se habla ahorita en la selección femenina.
Yeah, it definitely did surprise me, knowing that there was a lot of English speakers on the team. I'm personally grateful for it because it helps me out a lot.
Mhm.
With the predominantly Spanish speaking teammates, I try to speak Spanish with them on the field, but having a couple of those English speaking teammates on a field speak to me, like, I can react a little faster. So for me, it's beneficial on a field to have both. I get to practice both.
Yeah.
So it was a big surprise, and like I said, it's a benefit for me, but also I have full respect for Guatemala too, and I know Spanish is the predominantly spoken language, and I will be practicing that as well.
For sure. Entonces sí, ella dijo que sí, realmente se sorprendió que había tanto, pues que habían jugadores que hablaban mucho inglés en la selección nacional. Obviamente ella trata de lo mejor de seguir practicando el español, tiene mucho respeto para Guatemala, obviamente se habla el español en dicho país, pero sí, también trata de la manera de hablar el idioma dentro de la cancha con sus compañeras para que obviamente eso se lo pueda facilitar también a las jugadores de Guate. Were you nervous, Michelle, for your debut against Panama in Antigua with home fans? If I'm not mistaken, that was your official debut with Guatemala. Like, how was that game? Obviously, it didn't go for our end. I definitely feel like it could have been a different result if we would have scored early on. We definitely had opportunities, but how did that whole debut go for you? ¿Cómo se sintió ella en su debut ante la selección de Panamá hace unas semanas en Antigua?
Yeah, I think that was a moment, where it was a lot. It was my first game at, an international level, and
Yeah.
it's a big tournament that we're trying to qualify for. So I think for everyone, including myself, it's a lot of pressure to not only win the game, but play at the best capability that you can. And kind of like you mentioned, unfortunately, the result wasn't the way we wanted. But I feel like our next game against Panama, where we won, was a representation of what our team can do, and that we're not gonna go down without a fight. And I think for me personally, every single game I've played in since then, I've only improved, and
Yeah.
I plan to keep improving every single game. And that's just comfortability, being on the field, and creating that chemistry with teammates. It's chemistry on and off the field. And I think the more time I spend with the girls, I think the more successful we're going to be.
Ujú, for sure. Entonces sí, ella dijo que obviamente fue un debut bien especial para ella. No se esperaban ese resultado en casa, pero el partido que se jugó en Panamá demostró el carácter de ellas, la personalidad, la garra, que obviamente no se dejaron a pesar de que estaban en territorio de panameño con su gente. Y sí, obviamente dijo que el partido de Jamaica va a ser bastante importante y pueden lograr cosas buenas y grandes con esa selección nacional. Do you think that there's a good, like, if there's good chemistry between the girls that play outside of Guatemala, obviously with the girls that play in Guatemala, because you guys don't have a lot of time together, to obviously build that good chemistry, but from the short time that y'all have been together, it seems like everything has been going well. Si ella siente que hay buena química entre las legionarias y las jugadoras nacionales y que no tienen mucho tiempo juntas.
Yeah, I think, the players that play in Guatemala as well as out have a good chemistry because at this level, you almost kind of have to. Like, you
Yeah.
need to be able to be adaptable.
Mhm.
And, like you kind of said, if we're not adaptable and can play with each other and understand each other's movements, we're not gonna be successful.
Yeah.
And I think the coaching staff does a great job doing, drills that integrate us playing and moving off the ball with each other and understanding, like, some people like the ball into space, some people want it at their feet. So I think there's a lot of, good things that we do when we are at camp that prepare us for it. And I think, the coaching staff does a great job to prepare us for our games. It's not only training, it's film, it's team bonding, it's all these different aspects that help us be successful.
Ujú, for sure. Entonces sí, él dijo que sí hay buena química a pesar de que no hay tanto, que no tienen tanto tiempo juntas, pero a pesar de eso, todas se tienen que adaptar, ya que obviamente el nivel es alto, se tiene que entender dentro de la cancha para obviamente tener los resultados, pero aparte de eso también la profe Carla, el profe José hacen lo suyo en obviamente dictarles a ellas en cómo quieren que ellos jueguen, mirar videos de los oponentes y también crear esa química con las demás jugadoras cuando no están entrenando, posiblemente, digamos, chismoseando, hablando, obviamente así también se crea esa química en sí. How do you communicate on the field, Michelle? Because obviously you speak both languages, but like, do you communicate English obviously with like the English speakers? Obviously, do you speak Spanish with the Spanish speakers? ¿Cómo se comunica Michelle dentro de la cancha?
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly it. The way I communicate with them is the Spanish speakers I will speak Spanish with, and the ones that know English, they kinda get both. Uh,
Mhm.
typically, English comes out faster, so sometimes, like, when you have that split second to say a direction, I will revert to English with them just because I can communicate it significantly quicker.
Yeah.
So, that it does help being able to do both and having both be on the field for me.
Ujú. Entonces sí, él dijo que con los jugadores que hablan el inglés, ella les habla inglés, y con los jugadores que hablan, digamos, el español, les habla en español, y para ella es más fácil y más rápido hablar inglés, ya que es el idioma que ella sabe mejor, pero sí, ella trata de la mejor manera de comunicarse en los dos idiomas. Do you guys pay attention, or for you specifically, do you pay attention to the negative comments, because with social media, there's a lot of people that that post a lot of insane things and stuff like that. But it's part of the world, it's part of life, But like, do you specifically focus on the negative comments? Do you even pay attention to that or no? Si él le pone atención a los comentarios negativos de la gente.
Yeah, I don't think I pay too much attention. I've seen them. Obviously, it's like you said, impossible to not
See it?
see it, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that it's also a fuel to kind of be like, "No, that's not us." Like, not that we need to prove ourselves, but we can prove you wrong.
Yeah.
And I think the Panama game was a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
People had a lot of disbelief that we weren't going to be successful and we were gonna be dominated,
Yeah.
and I think that was a perfect representation of what this current team is. It's a team that is going to fight every single minute until the clock runs out,
Yeah.
and I think that's, like I said, like a perfect representation of what we are,
Mhm.
and even with the negative comments, it's like, you guys are still watching us. So, it can't be that bad if you're still watching. If you had the time to write a negative comment, we still have your attention,
Mhm.
and that's part of the game right now. It's women's soccer being a platform,
Yep.
and we're gonna maybe we are the beginning of when Guatemala might be put in its first major tournament, and that's the snowball effect for the U20s, the U17s, all the youth programs, because it needs to start somewhere.
Exactly.
There's always gonna be negative people, but that shouldn't stop us from trying to be successful.
Ujú, for sure. Entonces sí, ella dijo que obviamente hay bastantes comentarios negativos. Ella le pone atención un poco, porque obviamente a veces son demasiados, pero a pesar de eso, ellas como selección tratan de demostrarlo dentro de la cancha, obviamente ganándole a Panamá en Panamá. Y también dice que tienen que estar haciendo ellas algo bien, ya que obviamente la gente está viendo los partidos de ellas, y ellas obviamente harán todo lo posible por ganar los partidos, van a luchar hasta el último segundo, pero sí, obviamente siempre va a haber gente negativa, pero con resultados que se están dando, así van a, digamos, poder, pues, que la gente se alegra un poco más. Here, I wanted to read you a comment. Michelle Alberto Hernández said, esto fue un gran partidazo Guatemala contra Jamaica, eso, pero qué lástima que no se ganó. So obviously he's saying that you had a great game against Jamaica. So, people showing support. Brandon Aguilar says, preguntarle si le gustaría jugar en Europa en futuro. Would you like to play in Europe in the future? And how would
That's
you prepare for the next game against Jamaica?
yeah. I think preparing for the next game, like I said, I'm going to camp next week. So I think having that little bit of extra training is going to get me really focused and ready and prepared to play like I did in our last game. I think I was very driven and determined to win my best, just like my teammates.
Yeah.
And I want to give that effort every single time I step onto a field.
Mhm.
As far as playing in Europe, that is definitely my goal. I'm actually working on that right now. So hopefully by 2024, you might get maybe a secondary interview where I'm playing in another country.
Nice.
That's my goal. Really excited for that opportunity. And like I said, being able to represent Guatemala in another country would be great because it's only going to give more opportunities for the younger girls too.
Ujú, for sure. Entonces, sí, él dice que posiblemente va a tener un nuevo equipo en el 2024, ojalá sea en Europa. Ella está tratando de lograr ese sueño, y obviamente eso le va a dar más ojos, más atención para, digamos, siguientes guatemaltecas para jugar en ese dicho país. Y sí, obviamente se está preparando de la mejor manera para el partido de Jamaica. Ella, como dijo anteriormente, viaja hacia el país en los siguientes días para prepararse de la mejor manera ante las jamaiquinas. Who has been the toughest forward, that you have faced so far, playing for Guatemala? I know Panama has that American girl obviously plays
Yeah,
for, but
Riley Tanner. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. She was extremely good. Obviously, Jamaica has good players as well. But who has been like the toughest forward that you have encountered so far? La delantera más difícil que has enfrentado hasta ahorita.
I would definitely say Riley Tanner was the toughest forward. I think it it was a bit of an adjustment for me. I think the first game I was trying to figure her out and how she moved,
Mhm.
and then I think the second game I was able to
So,
adapt.
yeah.
Yeah. So she was, I think, the best forward I faced so far.
Mhm.
But with, like I said, the coaching staff and training and like rewatching film, I think I was also able to adapt myself to stop her.
Mhm.
So even though she was the toughest opponent I felt I've played against up top so far,
Wow.
um, I don't think I was limited either. Like I
Mhm.
wasn't afraid to play her again. I was like, okay, she beat me on a cut one time. I'm gonna make sure that never happens again.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Most definitely. Entonces, sí, él dijo que la delantera más difícil que se ha enfrentado es Riley Tanner, la jugadora que juega para Panamá. Obviamente se adaptó, digamos, en el segundo partido, porque en el primer partido quería ver cómo se movía dentro de la cancha, la estudió, y obviamente se tenía como meta, digamos, si la panameña le hubiera ganado en 1-1, obviamente ella tenía como meta en que eso ya no pudiera pasar. Pero sí, obviamente se adoptó de la mejor manera en el siguiente partido. Do you feel pressure coming from the States, playing for Guatemala? Michelle, si ella siente presión siendo una legionaria viniendo a aportar a la selección nacional.
um yes and no. I think there is pressure in the sense that I'm not playing like in Europe or in Mexico or on any of these other teams like the rest of my teammates. So I
Mhm.
think sometimes that is a little bit of a pressure.
Yeah,
But I'm also one of those people that I'm just a workhorse. Like I will work hard no matter what the obstacle is, whether I'm having to jump to win the ball in the air, if I'm have to slide to win the ball.
yeah,
I think that is one thing that I kind of pride myself on is like I'm very passionate about what I do,
yeah.
and I will throw myself on the line for any one of my teammates in a
Mhm.
game. Like if it came down to it and they're like, "We need you to step up," I'll be like, I'm there. Like, what do you need from me?"
Yeah,
Like, "Michelle, take the PK." "Sure." "You want me to take a corner?" "Great." You know,
yeah.
even if it's something I've never done before, I think I'm that type of person that if you need something done and you're asking me of it, I will put myself on the line to try and do it.
For sure. So you obviously give it your everything.
Yeah.
Ujú, for sure. Entonces sí, él dijo que no viene obviamente de, digamos, de Europa o de México, entonces no siente tanta presión, pero a pesar de eso, ella hará todo lo posible dentro de la cancha por sus compañeras, por el país, por Guatemala, no importa lo que sea, ella va a estar ahí lista, comprometida en jugar para Guatemala y obviamente representarnos de la mejor manera. Um, how was it, barely in your third game, fourth game with the national team, being in the once ideal de CONCACAF in the last fecha FIFA, because barely you've barely played like 4 official matches with Guatemala and you were already chosen, that must have been a huge achievement for yourself. But how did that feel, cómo se sintió que la escogieron en el once ideal en la última fecha FIFA que disputó con Guatemala?
Yeah, the feelings I had for that I'm not a big crier, but that was definitely a moment that, was very emotional.
Yeah.
Kinda like I said, it was that whole, like, everything in my life that has been, like, restricting me from trying to advance my career as a soccer player
Hmm.
was coming true. It's like, "Look, like, I might be new,
Yeah.
but and no one might know my name, and they might still not know my name, but, um, I will keep working." Like I said,
Mm,
like, it's yeah, I made best 11, but I don't think it stops there. Like, for
mhm.
me, it's like, "Okay, I made best 11. Now what can I do to help us win this next game?"
Yeah.
So, it is very honorable and shocking, and I am so proud of myself, and I know my teammates are so proud of me,
Yep.
but that was October like, for me, that's October's news. Now we're in December, like, we need
Yeah.
to win this game. So, for me, it's that was a great achievement, and I loved every minute of it, but I want that same success for everyone on my team. Like, I wanna see the whole Guatemalan team as the best 11, like, that would be
Insane.
such a cool thing to see.
Yeah. For sure. Entonces sí, ella dijo que sí, que obviamente cuando la incluyeron en el once ideal, fue algo muy emocional para ella, ya que trabajó bastante duro por eso, muy feliz por ese logro también. Pero dijo que obviamente eso ya fue octubre, ahora ya es, digamos, si ya es el enfoque, ahora es diciembre, ella hará todo lo posible por seguir mejorando con la selección nacional y obviamente ella quisiera ver que toda la selección en sí estuviera en ese once ideal de CONCACAF, pero como ella dijo, seguirá trabajando. Ahora el enfoque es en diciembre. What have your parents, your friends, your coaches have told you, achieving all of this within the last couple of months? ¿Qué le ha dicho sus papás, sus amigos y obviamente sus entrenadores de todo esto?
I think they're all very proud of me, starting with my coaches. I think there is with United City, they are the ones that also helped me start this journey. So with them, I think there's like I said, there's a lot of misrepresentation of female athletes in the US
Yeah.
and we don't have those opportunities. So for my club, it's a big opportunity to represent what they can do for female athletes. So
Mm.
for them, I know they're immensely proud of me, especially my general manager, Steve. He's probably been the first person, I think, in my athletic career that has believed in me more than I believed in myself. And that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
that's insane. Uh, as far as my friends, I think again, like I most of my friends are soccer players and have played at the US at different levels. So they are I get like photos of, like, look, we're watching your game. Like, oh my gosh, you're doing awesome. So for them, they're the people that kind of started my journey like on an unofficial level. Like they're the people that I would spend hours training on a field on a Sunday and have been there at the beginning when this was not even a thought, when I was just, a player playing pickup
Yeah.
or, I still played competitively, but they were the ones that kind of kept me motivated in playing.
Mm.
As far as my family, I do have a twin sister who also plays soccer.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so she has a joke when I was, best 11. She goes, she's like, "I know her, or is that me? I can't tell." So My family, I have a bunch of siblings, so they're all very proud of me. I get messages all the time from them about how big of a opportunity I have, and, I never take it for granted. Like, I
Yeah.
think, like I said, like, I'm a 1% of athletes.
Mhm.
As far as my parents, my mom is, super excited for me, but I think my biological father is the most excited of my parents,
Yeah.
because he's Guatemalan, and he actually played for the 2nd division Municipal team
Oh,
way back when, which is cool.
yeah.
Um, and his dream back then was to play for the national team. So, like,
Mhm.
for him to see me, like, not only wear a Municipal kit, but then wear
Yeah,
a
it's insane.
Guatemalan kit was, for him, like, I'm sure he cried.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. I mean, have you spoken to your father recently? Obviously playing for what and everything?
Yeah, so, we actually got a lot closer this last year. So I unfortunately didn't have the opportunity to really grow up with him.
Mhm.
So within the last, year or 2, I've been able to develop a relationship with him, and I think, that's kind of helped me understand another side of myself that I never got to know. So,
Wow.
like I said, with the food and culture of Guatemala, I didn't have that opportunity.
Mhm.
So I feel like I missed out.
Mhm.
So, being on the national team, definitely is helping me feel included and better understood as, like, the other side of who I am, and
Yeah.
I love it.
Course. Ya, entonces sí, ella dijo que sus entrenadores obviamente está totalmente agradecidos con ellos. Había alguien específico en que ha sido su entrenador que siempre creyó en Michelle, más que ella ha creído en sí misma, entonces ella obviamente está muy agradecido por sus entrenadores, obviamente sus amigas que son también futbolistas, siempre le mandan fotos y mensajes a ella diciéndole, mira, te estoy viendo jugar, y también de sus papás, su mamá está muy orgullosa de lo que ha logrado. También tiene una gemela que también juega fútbol. Entonces, sí, todos están muy felices por ella y su verdadero papá también se ha, digamos, acercado a Michelle en este último año y medio por, digamos, el fútbol y Michelle obviamente ha conocido diferentes aspectos en su vida que obviamente no había tenido ya que su papá no estuvo digamos, en su infancia, pero I'm glad, obviously, that you've gotten a lot closer with your father, so that's something dope that the soccer does, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Something that we don't know about you, Michelle, because obviously your work, I'm guessing probably full time as an interior designer, you play
Mhm.
football, but is there something that us the fans don't know about you? Si hay algo que nosotros no sabemos de Michelle.
Well, just told I have a twin, so that's, pretty crazy because people that don't know I'm a twin and will see my sister,
Yeah.
uh, they'll have full conversations with her, and she'll be like, "I have no idea who you are."
That's hella crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So growing up with her was always pretty fun.
Mhm.
Non-family related,
Mhm.
something about me, I'm very artistic, so I like to paint, I like to
Yeah,
draw. I mean, I do have a, kind of artistic job, but
exactly. Mhm.
yeah, I have a passion for kind of being creative, so that's something that whether it's, like I said, painting, drawing, writing,
Yeah.
it's something that I is another outlet for me other than playing soccer.
Nice, nice, not bad. Entonces sí, él dijo que algo que la gente probablemente no sabe de ella es que obviamente nos dijo que tiene una gemela y a veces la gente piensan que es ella y ellos le hablan a su gemela y su gemela dice, pues yo no sé de qué estás hablando, yo no soy Michelle. Pero algo también aparte de eso es que a él le encanta dibujar, le encanta pintar y obviamente eso también lo implementa en su día de trabajo ya que lo usa. What do you think has to be implemented, Michelle, in Guatemalan soccer, specifically for females? Because you went out there, you saw the training facility, you were there, you lived it for a bit, obviously with the national team as well. Totally different here in the stateside. But what do you think has to be implemented in female soccer to obviously grow? Because there's talent out there. ¿Qué debe ser implementado en el fútbol femenino en Guatemala para crecer?
Yeah, I think that it needs to have a higher representation. I think that especially female soccer, we get the short end of the stick on a lot of things, like you just mentioned. It's
Yeah.
facilities, it's equipment, it's
The basics.
The basics, yeah. It's things that as a professional, like, they should be normal. Like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have to require, finding field availability or, we have to only play on half a field because we have to split it with somebody else. Like, I
Yeah.
think, um, it needs to have the same
Respect.
respect, yeah, as our
Mhm.
male counterparts, and I think it will keep developing and we'll get there.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, through the entire world, female soccer has just grown
Yep.
immensely,
Mhm.
and we are just living in that era of that transition.
Yeah.
So, I think having that respect and giving female athletes that same representation and opportunity will grow the sport. That's where you're gonna develop, having academy teams and developing with coaches and having higher level players is gonna build the whole program.
Most definitely. Entonces, sí, ella dijo que, digamos, el fútbol femenino en Guatemala necesita tener la misma representación que tiene el jugador masculino. Las jugadoras femeninas necesitan lo básico para, obviamente, mejorar y hasta que ellas tengan también el mismo respeto que los hombres, solamente así puede crecer el fútbol femenino, porque a veces en los entrenos no pueden, digamos, pues comparten a veces el campo con diferentes equipos y también obviamente a veces no tienen lo básico y necesitan obviamente todos esos aspectos para que tanto la liga femenina pueda crecer como las jugadoras para que puedan mejorar y también exportar, porque el talento hay demasiado en Guatemala. Obviously Jamaica, December, crucial game. It's going to be your debut as well, and playing in the Doroteo con Muchos Flores, I think probably the biggest stadium in Guatemala. How do you, I mean, how have you taken this? Because we have to win.
Mhm.
I think the result between Panama and Jamaica, I think everything is in our hands. We have to get the W at home, but like it's a crazy task. Do you think obviously we could win it? ¿Qué piensa ella sobre el partido ante Jamaica ahorita en diciembre?
Yeah, I definitely think this is a game that we can win. I think we have the team and capability to beat them.
Mhm.
I think it's gonna require everybody to work hard. Like, there can't be anyone that is off,
Yeah,
Like, we need to all show up. It's not only showing up for yourself, but showing up for your teammates.
yeah,
I think if we can kind of play our game the way we know how to play and the way that, our coaches are kind of showing us, how to be successful, that we will win. Kind of take the first game against Jamaica, we scored within the first 20 minutes. I think, like you said, if we get those quick first counter goals, that's gonna be the difference of, winning and losing games. I
mm,
think if we bring high pressure quickly, like you said, it's putting respect on the Guatemalan name. Like,
yeah,
fear us. Like, we're gonna score goals on you guys. If you don't step and press us, we will score goals. And I
mhm,
think having that fight, like, we will not go down. Like, we are not gonna lose this game is
yeah.
gonna make us successful.
For sure. Entonces, dijo que sí, obviamente está lista. Todas las jugadoras en sí tienen que estar, digamos, dándole el 100% ante esta selección de Jamaica y también demostrar que también pueden anotar, porque obviamente lo hicieron en el primer partido en Jamaica, anotaron en los primeros 20 minutos y obviamente ellos van a luchar hasta el último minuto, van a entregar todo y como ella dijo, están más que listas para este partido importante. What message do you give to the fans that are watching? Hopefully, they'll keep watching after the end lives. What message do you give to the fans to come out and support you en Doroteo con Muchos Flores? Un mensaje que él le manda a todos los aficionados para que vayan y que vayan a apoyar.
Let's see. The message I think I would give our fans would be for us to be successful, we need your support. It doesn't just start with I mean, it starts within our team and believing in ourselves, but having the support of our country definitely
Yeah,
goes a long way. I think, like I said, it's that underrepresentation. We need to have faith not only in each other, but of the girls on the field, of the fans, of the parents, of everyone. I think it all makes a difference. And we are representing you guys, and the for fans to not support us or, talk down upon us, it's like
Yeah.
that's not building the program. It's like you wanna see both, like, men and women. We wanna
Mhm.
see both Guatemalan teams on top, right? We wanna hold the Gold Cup as
Mhm.
champions. We wanna win Nations League.
Yeah.
And without the full support of you guys, it's like, how are you expecting us to be successful?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Entonces, sí, obviamente ellas mismas confían en su capacidad, pero también ella dice que necesitan el apoyo de todo el país, porque cómo pueden que los aficionados, que ellas puedan jugar bien, pero sin el apoyo de ellos. Entonces ella dice que todos los aficionados y la gente de Guatemala que vayan a apoyar, que necesitan el apoyo de los aficionados y en vez de criticar, en vez de poner cosas negativas, que lleguen, que apoyen, que obviamente eso les va a hacer levantar el ánimo a ellas durante el partido, porque ellas lo han demostrado. Obviamente nadie es perfecto, se perdió, pero le ganaron en Panamá, ganaron un buen empate ante Jamaica. And what's your favorite type of music and food, Michelle? Obviously, you live out here in the States, you might have a different taste, but what's your favorite music and food?
Favorite food, um, there's in California, we have a lot of Mexican food. I love street tacos. Yeah, it's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Um, as far as music, I listen to almost anything. I
Okay.
love, R&B, hip
Yeah.
hop, reggaeton. Like I listen to everything. So
Yeah.
like it just depends the mood, like
Yeah.
yeah. So everything's great.
Entonces sí, ella dijo que le encantan los tacos, hay bastante comida mexicana allá donde ella vive, digamos en tipo música, le encanta todo, reggaetón, hip hop, literalmente de todo. What do you think has been your best game with Guatemala? Su partido que ella piensa que ha jugado de lo mejor con la selección nacional de Guate.
Definitely this last game with Jamaica was my best game.
Ujú.
Like I said, I think every game I've played, I've just developed a little bit more confidence
Yeah.
on and off the ball and my
Mhm.
movement. And I think um, I'm understanding my role on the team and what I need to do.
Yeah.
Thank you, like to Carla and Jose and my teammates. Like I said, it's not. I was listed best 11 because I had a great team backing me too. It's not just my own performance. It's we make each other look good,
Yeah.
and they were definitely a big aspect of why I was successful that day
Mhm.
because I wanted to win for them,
Mm.
and they wanted to win for me too. So,
Yeah, exacto. Entonces ella dijo que su equipo, pues no el equipo, el partido que ella ha jugado mejor fue el partido de Jamaica. Le agradece obviamente a sus compañeras, ya que sin ellas obviamente no hubiera de jugar tan bien, pero sí piensa por su rendimiento, por lo que jugó. El último partido ante Jamaica fue el partido mejor que ha jugado con Guate. And the last question, Michelle, what would it mean to you guys, to qualify to the first ever Copa Oro Femenil 2024 that's obviously going to be played
yeah.
out here in the United States? ¿Qué significaría para ellas como selección en clasificar a la primera Copa Oro Femenil 2024 que se va a jugar acá en Estados Unidos?
I think the significance of it is that it is showing the development of women's soccer in Guatemala. Like we are trying to qualify for something that has never been done before. And granted, this is the first ever women's Gold Cup,
Yeah.
but to be able to be part of a team that is making history is, I like I said, it's kind of like a dream come true. It's like the best case scenario. Like your name is going to be one of those people that is making history.
Mm.
So yeah.
Ujú. Entonces sí, ella dijo que sí, obviamente en clasificar a esta Copa Oro será y demostrar el crecimiento del fútbol femenino en Guatemala. Obviamente será la primera vez que se va a lograr, ojalá primeramente Dios, y obviamente sus nombres de cada una de estas jugadoras estará cementado en la historia del fútbol guatemalteco femenil. And Michelle, I have a couple questions apart. I mean, do you have time or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Sorry.
I'll end the live, but I'll finish it right now. Entonces,
Okay.
thank you so much, Michelle, obviously, for your time. It was
Sorry.
meeting you. No, you're good. It was great meeting you. Um, best of luck, for in December. And like I said, it was great talking with you, to meet you and everything like that. So thank you so much. Muchas gracias a Michelle por su tiempo. en conocerla y obviamente de la mejor suerte para diciembre.
Of course. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Michelle. Let me just end it real quick.